Welcome to Google Ads Unleashed, the podcast that helps you harness the power of Google Ads to increase sales for your online business. In an ever-changing Google Ads landscape, we uncover the latest strategies, techniques, and best practices for creating effective ad campaigns that deliver real results. And now your host, Jeremy Young.
Hello guys, and welcome to the next episode of Google Ads Unleashed. And in today's episode I'm going to be talking about something that I get asked quite a bit. I hold seminars quite regularly, and people tend to ask me a question quite often, and that is, how do I choose the right bidding strategy, right? Because in the end, choosing the right bidding strategy is really important to obviously generate enough traffic for your website. It is also important to scale, right? And it's important to achieve the right goal for your website, right? And it is also instrumental in, sort of achieving sort of the right, how should I say, the right return on ad spend for your ads as well. So, and also to outgun your competitors. So that's something I get asked a lot, and today I just wanted to clear up a few myths and talk a little bit about bidding strategies, which ones they are, etc., what you should be choosing for your business, and then how you actually deploy the right bidding strategies, and a few sort of ideas around that. Especially for new businesses, this is really difficult, and also difficult for businesses that already have an account established. Is how can I basically be more aggressive and get more out of sort of my current bidding? Okay, so first of all, what bidding strategies are there? So there's quite a few. So generally speaking, you have your manual bidding strategies. So first of all, this would be, as the name implies, manual CPC. You actually, for your keyword or keywords and for your product groups, set your bid manually. And it is exactly what it says on the tin, right? So you set a certain CPC and you tell Google, hey, I'm not really willing to spend more per click than this CPC. So the big advantage of that one is that you actually have some control over your CPCs. I always recommend setting that either at the beginning, if you have a completely brand new account where you actually have to sort of kickstart the engine a little bit, or it can be a valuable experiment to test your branded traffic, for instance, to sort of cap a little bit the bids, because sometimes if you set your branded traffic to max conversions or any other automated bidding strategy, it can get quite wild. So what I would recommend is sometimes to try manual CPC and see how you fare with that. So what you can do with manual CPC as well is to optimize it either for conversions or conversion value. This is called eCPC, enhanced cost per conversion, cost per click. And basically what it does is it's a semi-automated bidding strategy. So Google will up your bids plus minus 30%-ish, depending on how likely a conversion is to occur for your goal, right? It's quite a handy tool. I would definitely use it. But manual bidding strategies, generally speaking, are really not that common. Then we can also talk about max clicks. So again, this is a semi-automated strategy where you can just basically tell Google, hey, with the current budget that I have, get me as many clicks as possible. Very, very rare that I use that. Sometimes you can even tell Google as well, so max clicks with maximum CPC. So get me as many clicks as possible, but don't spend more than this per click. Very rare I would use that bidding strategy, right? Because it does exactly what it says. It just maximizes the clicks with your budgets. I would only do that and recommend that if you are, for instance, some form of agency that does a lot of brand awareness projects or something like that. It's good to just, get as many clicks as possible and just drive website traffic. But for sales or for leads, it's absolutely rubbish. I would never ever use it, okay? So that's something to be aware of. Then you also have target impression share. That is also a semi-automated bidding strategy. What that does is basically you tell Google how much with the current budget you want impression share. So impression share is basically let's say out of 100 searches that could have triggered your ads, how often has your ad shown? So it's a metric that kind of shows you how often you are in the auction, and you can tell Google, hey, I want to be showing as often as possible for the keywords that are contained within this campaign. Again, this is a bidding strategy I see very often when I audit ad accounts that is deployed to brand campaigns, brand search campaigns. I wouldn't really use it. It's, again, a nice little gimmick, for awareness or for reach, but I absolutely would not recommend using this bidding strategy. And now we come to the two basically major bidding strategies out there, which are really, really important, and that are maximize conversions and maximize conversion value. And they do exactly what the name implies as well. Maximize conversions maximizes the number of conversions possible for the daily budget that you set at the campaign, and maximize conversion value maximizes the value of the conversions and the conversion value for the daily budget that you give it. And the two how should I say, configurations to max conversions and max conversion value is that for max conversions, so maximize conversions, you can set a target CPA. So that means not only, hey, for the daily budget that I'm setting for this campaign, not only maximize the conversions, but also achieve the conversions at this desired cost per acquisition. And the same goes for maximize conversion value. For the daily budget that I'm setting, please generate a revenue at this return on ad spend so you can actually bid on ROAS, okay? So more or less, this is something that is kind of interesting as a concept to sort of bear in mind in the back of your head, that target CPA bidding is nothing else than a form of maximized conversions bidding, right? And target ROAS bidding is nothing else than a form of maximize conversion value bidding. So those are the bidding strategies that you have at your disposal. When do you use them, right? So generally speaking, I want to sort of make a sort of differentiation here between lead gen and e-com business. So lead gen businesses obviously are after leads, and e-com businesses are after sales. So naturally there's two very, very different variables that play here, right? So with lead gen, it doesn't make sense to have conversion value associated with it. In certain cases it does, but I'll get to that later. So generally speaking, this is a generalization. If you have a lead gen business, you will want to be looking at the maximize conversion or target CPA option, to generate leads for your business and use that bidding strategy. And for e-com businesses, generally speaking, you will want to look at the maximize conversion value or the ROAS bidding strategy. So now we have that out there. Why is that? Of course, with e-com, you usually have a margin on your products, right? Let's say, I've probably said this in about 3 or 4 podcasts already, but this is really, really instrumental to sort of building the right ad account structure and choosing the right bidding strategy for your account. Generally speaking, what you want with e-com businesses is you have, let's say, 4 product categories that all have different margins. Naturally, in order to generate sales at profit, you have to have a certain return on ad spend for all of those different product categories, right? So what you want to be doing with Google Ads, because there are 3 things that you can control fundamentally at campaign level. That is the products that you advertise or the keywords, then also the daily budget that you give, and the bidding strategy. You will want to set the bidding strategy in such a fashion that it complements the products that are contained within that campaign, right? So if you need a let's say 300% return on ad spend for a subset of products A, then you put all the products in there and set the ROAS target at that. And really it's as simple as that, right? For e-com, the only sort of exception that I would make for e-com businesses are, of course, for your brand campaign. So that's the first one. I would always use either manual CPC or just maximize conversions with that one, because in the end, the ROAS doesn't matter on your brand, right? It's always going to be ridiculously high. You just want to make sure that you generate sales with your brand campaign and bid as aggressively as possible. So maximize conversions is the bidding strategy that you will want to go for. Then the second thing, the second exception that you will want to look at is if you have a business that doesn't rely on instant return on ad spend in e-commerce, right? So businesses like that, for instance, are if you look at, for instance, subscription-based businesses, where you have some sort of CPA target at the beginning, or where you know your lifetime value, right? So this could be subscription businesses. Good examples of this are dog food, where people usually buy the first time, maybe unprofitably, but the lifetime value of each customer is so high that you can actually afford sort of deviating away from the return on ad spend bidding strategy. Subscription businesses, or for instance, sometimes you might be having businesses where just the recurring value of some sort is extremely high. So a little example, many years ago, I used to work with a dog food company based in Germany, and all of their campaigns were based on ROAS, right? So for an e-commerce business, that's not that unusual, right? All of the campaigns at like ROAS target of 200%, and I don't know, the CPA of the campaigns was something like around 15 to 20 euros or something. Whilst all of the campaigns were really okay, what this business struggled with was scale. And basically what we found is that the lifetime value of each customer was way beyond 250 euros. So this changes sort of the paradigm, right? It changes a little bit the way of how to approach and how to scale this account. Suddenly a CPA of 15 to 20 euros is really low if you think about it. So what could we do? The problem was that the ROAS-based bidding strategy was much too limited. So what do? We actually switched the bidding strategy to maximize conversions at target CPA, choosing the target CPA way higher, like 50, 60, 70 euros. And as a result, we were able to bid a lot more aggressively. As a result, ranking for more keywords, ranking much higher in the auction, and winning a lot more sales as a result. And that is how we were able to grow this brand, right? So this is the only sort of exception where I would use target CPA bidding with e-commerce. If you have a lead gen business, it's very rare to use target return on ad spend. I would always opt for the maximize conversions bidding strategy, or for the obviously the target CPA strategy. Why is that? Well, usually if you're a very good business that knows, it's MQL ratio, so marketing qualified lead ratio, SQL ratio, which knows its lead to close rate, which knows its average deal value, etc. If you know all of this, then you can pretty accurately determine what your target CPA needs to be, right? Let's say, for instance, if you want to have a return on ad spend of 200%, so for each pound you put in, you get £2 back, okay? And if you know your average deal value is £1,000, let's say, then you know that you can spend £500 to acquire a new customer. Easy maths, right? Now that if you know that if your sort of lead to sales or lead to deal ratio is 1 to 10, so out of every 10 leads, 1 actually ends up being a customer or a sale, well, you know exactly then what the target CPA needs to be, right? £50, because you can spend 10 times £50 on 10 leads in order to generate 1 sale. So in that, you can actually very accurately sort of determine your the target CPA strategy. There are of course exceptions. So there's 2 exceptions here when I would before I get to that, So just to summarize all in all of what I said so far, you've got the manual bidding strategies, the semi-automated strategies, and you have the two goats that are maximize conversions and maximize conversion value. And of course, maximize conversions come with a target CPA, or just let it rip, maximize conversions, or maximize conversion value with target ROAS, or just let it rip, maximize conversion value. So with e-commerce, you would almost always choose ROAS bidding, yeah. And in rare exceptions, if the lifetime value is a much more important factor in determining the business success, then you would use target CPA bidding. And with lead gen businesses, you would almost always use target CPA bidding, right? So this is the summary of everything so far. Now, there are two exceptions where I would either deviate to just maximize conversions, or just maximize conversion value without a CPA or without a ROAS, or a manual strategy. And that is A, at the beginning of an ad account if it's completely fresh, or B, if you want to scale. Because at the beginning of an ad account, right, Google has no data to go on. So it's very difficult to impossible for Google to actually hit your target CPA or your target ROAS if you're an e-commerce or lead gen business, right? Why is that? Because Google has no data to go on, right? It doesn't know the auction. It doesn't know how well your website performs. It can't determine a quality score or quality index of your website. It's very difficult to determine your ad rank. It has no data of what worked previously, etc., etc. So Google will really struggle to hit your target CPA when you actually start brand new campaigns or a brand new account. It will really struggle to hit your target ROAS as you wish as well, because you have no data to go on. Actually, as a matter of fact, you can't even set a target ROAS at the beginning because Google doesn't have enough data. It needs a certain number of conversions to actually be able to start having this setting available in the ad account. So what you would do at the beginning if you launch a brand new ad account is to either go manual, use a manual bidding strategy, and once you have enough data to actually then switch to maximize conversions or max conversion value and let that run for a time. Or you would go straight to maximize conversions or max conversion value. Why is that? Because it is the most aggressive bidding strategy, and what you want to do if you launch a brand new account, and which is what I see a lot of people struggling with. They can't get their ad account off the ground, right? I always like to say a brand new ad account is a bit like a train. It takes a lot of power to get the train moving, but once it is moving, it keeps chugging along, and it's much easier, right? So what you want to do is to throw fuel into the fire at the beginning, okay? What you want to do is set it to maximize conversion value or maximize conversions depending on the goals which I just discussed, depending on what your business type is. And for the first 30 days, just let it rip, all right? Don't even worry about CPA or ROAS at the beginning that much. It's going to hurt. You will have to invest that money. But after 30 days, you should be having collected enough data for Google to then accurately be able to set a target CPA or target ROAS for your campaigns, right? So this is what I would do. This would be scenario one, where I would sometimes deploy the most aggressive strategy. Or option two is if your account is scaling like crazy. We've got a couple of ad accounts, for instance, which we look after, right? Which I'm just now looking at my computer screen here. We have one account which has spent 104,000 euros in the past 30 days, generating 10,400 sales. So in that ad account, of course, we have a certain ROAS target, minimum, on which we determine whether campaigns work or which products work or keywords work, etc. But because the entire business operates off MER, of course, a marketing efficiency ratio, what we use Google for is as the base channel for for the success of all other channels. So what we do with Google is, because in that ad account the CPC is so low because the business is unbelievable and the market leader, the click-through rates are so great, the conversion rate is insane, the average order value is insane, everything, all of these factors are amazing, and because there's so much volume in the account, we literally say, let it rip. We don't have any ROAS targets on any of our products, campaigns, sorry. And that is an indicator of a really, really healthy business, that you can basically just let the algorithm rip and just let it do its own thing. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be segregating campaigns like I've sort of recommended in many podcasts previously, but still, you can just let it rip. And those are the only two scenarios where I would recommend this: at the beginning of a brand new ad account, or if you have a situation where you want to scale an ad account and it's in such a healthy position that it generates hundreds of conversions per week and you can just comfortably let it rip, right? That said, there's actually a third one thinking about it now. So sometimes what I see happening is that people sort of suffocate the algorithm a little bit by setting unrealistically high ROAS targets or unrealistically low CPA targets. So sometimes in order to get an account back to, to a healthy state where it's sort of, where you can just let Google do its job, that is when I would remove CPA targets as well, or where I would remove ROAS targets just to let the account breathe a little bit and let the algorithm rip again. And it's the same principle basically as sort of in the first scenario, which I mentioned, where you want to get an ad account off the ground. It's just let the algorithm do its job, be aggressive, just let Google set the bids, and you'll be surprised that sometimes you actually generate better results that way as well. Good. Okay, so that is basically the episode. So to sum it up, you've got various bidding strategies. If you can, always resort to maximize conversions with target CPA, or maximize conversion value with ROAS targets. For e-commerce, that's the GOAT bidding strategy. Very rarely, if it's more about lifetime value, you will want to use target CPA bidding. With lead gen businesses, it's almost always maximize conversion value with target CPA or not target CPA. Then in special cases, when you use no ROAS target or no CPA target, is for your branded campaigns. Or if you are currently stuck and you are sort of suffocating the algorithm, then just let it rip and remove those target CPAs and target ROASs. Or if you have a brand new ad account, you can sort of use either manual bidding strategy first or directly go to maximize conversions or maximize conversion value for 30 days and then implement the ROAS and the CPA. Or the third thing, if your account is scaling so well with the ROAS that you have or the CPA that you have, and you just want to get the most out of your ad account, and then you just let it rip. So that's the summary of it all. If you are struggling with all of this and if you need help, you know where to find me. Just reach out to jeremy@younganddigital.marketing or head to our website and just fill out the form there. Or you can find me on LinkedIn. Just pop in Jeremy Young Google Ads. You will find me and we can connect and have a chat. I'd love to help you either in person, or if you need an agency, of course, we're the people, our team of 8 is there for you. Or if you want to learn Google Ads, you can do this with us as well. So thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions about bidding strategy and what you should be doing, reach out as well. Otherwise, I wish you a fantastic week, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Google Ads Unleashed. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. If you found value in today's podcast, please share it with others and leave a rating and a review. For more information or to connect with Jeremy, check him out online at www.younganddigital.marketing. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.